Krypton and Supergirl.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to the Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's the Krypton Report!
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If you've enjoyed Krypton Report, please check out the other podcasts available from Southgate Media Group. From Capes and Lunatics, which is everything you could possibly want from a geek podcast, to Nuff Said, Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks, Titans Talk. If you're like me, you can't get enough of your DC. And you can also check out Super Connectivity, where they discuss everything in comics. Also, they do discuss Marvel. That's something you don't hear much from me. So, check it out, southgatemediagroup.com.
Look in the sky. Superman is coming. It's so awesome.
Welcome to the Crisis on Infinite Krypton Reports. I am broadcasting from Earth 1. It is I, Tyler. With me is my counterpart, Earth 1's other Superman of Red, James. And on Earth 89 is Bryan. Hey, Bryan.
Oh, hey, guys. You gave me Earth 89.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. We lost him. Bryan, wait.
No, I'm here.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting a reading from Bryan on Earth. There he is. He's on Earth 1 too. Hey, Bryan, what's up?
Oh, thank God. Thank God you guys saved me. Oh, my God. There was this big red cloud.
All right. So, wow.
Well, that's the understatement of the year.
What a night.
You're right.
I mean, I literally lost my junk in the first few minutes, and I love how they did it.
Yeah, the cold open, the whole thing. We messaged each other like words we can't say on air here.
I was just like, this is the perfect way to just get all those cameos of people in to establish the other Earth and to do your fan service. Now, before we get into the episode, which part jumped out at you and caught you off guard the most? This is going to be very spoilerific, people. So brace yourself.
Go ahead, Bryan.
Bryan, you can go first.
I just, sorry, I'm just baffled. I love how they went and said Earth 89. Oh, well, that's Batman 89. And there's Knox sitting up there on a bench just reading the newspaper. And I was just like,
Batman
oh my
captures
gosh.
the Joker.
I was like, oh my gosh. But I was kind of confused, though, because in the previews, we saw some newspaper that said Bruce Wayne to wed Selena Kyle. So,
yeah, but we're not done with Earth, man. There's only the first one.
But it blew up, man.
But we don't.
So the most interesting thing about that is he captured the Joker. Well, the Joker died. Is there exactly 3 Jokers on Earth 89?
Oh, I was going to bring that up later, but
or is there Earth 92, and that's where Batman marries Selena, and that's the Batman Returns.
Oh, yeah, because they brought it up in the Kevin Smith show later that Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze Earth would be at 97. But I thought that was a great tribute. 89 is Batman 89 with Knox. That's Batman 66. So Burt Ward is an older Robin.
You only got to pick one thing. Don't go jumping around, Bryan. What one thing? You picked Knox. James, your turn.
So what Earth was it that Titans was on? Because I was surprised that they...
Right there, Titans. That is the biggest...
Yeah, that's what I wanted to jump to next, but whatever. I got to shut up. But, it was Earth 9.
Yeah, shut up, Bryan.
Earth 9.
It was Earth 9? Okay. I couldn't remember what Earth it was, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, my God. They showed Hawk and they showed Jason Todd. It's like, oh, that is so cool.
So that was the one thing out of this episode.
You can only mention... You can only mention seeing one person. That was the rule.
No, it was one part. You said you said 89, so that was your one part. I was talking about that. Titans. That is the one part about this episode that got me most excited. Just because everything else kind of played out similar. You know, there's some jumps, but that was a complete surprise.
Right.
So I wonder if they count as one of these 6 unannounced cameo guest appearances. That they had said they hadn't revealed for Crisis.
Right. 6 unannounced ones, yeah.
And my other thought is that looked like, I bet that's footage from the Titans season 1 finale that was cut out.
Could be. Because they have unused footage.
Exactly. And I know that Alan Richardson said that they asked him to come to see if he wanted to film a scene as Aquaman, and he couldn't get out of the country to do it because of scheduling stuff. So it would make the most sense to, instead of using a scene we've already seen, to use a quick shot that we've never seen because it was unused footage.
That could be. But I was pretty sure that they did say that Titans would be a part of it, that it was announced.
It was never confirmed. It was one of those where people were throwing that out there, just saying, oh, they're part of it, they're this, just like everyone spitballed everything else that's potentially part of it.
Just because it was a Berlanti show. Yeah, there was a lot of, Titans is going to be a part of it because it's Berlanti. That'd be great, but no, I don't recall anything saying that it was actually going to happen,
So let me just jump.
Well, it was awesome.
Let me just jump
it was.
a second. Before the first episode aired tonight, Arrow left us with Lila turning into Harbinger. The Flash left us with The Crisis is Here, the Red Skies. Keep that in your mind real quick, okay, guys? Nash got pulled into the wall of Marnavu, where, of course, that's where he was going to have his transformation. And then on Supergirl, Lexa's resurrected, and he's playing chess with the Monitor. That's where we were last pre-crisis things before each show started. We got a little kind of in the beginning scene about how the multiverse came into play, which that was cool at the beginning of the episode. Now, before we get into our breakdown, this is something that's bothering me, okay? So they pull everybody to Earth 38 to make their stand. What stand exactly, first of all? But 2, they say that Earth 1 is the last of in the anti-wave, anti-monitor trajectory. So it's going Earth to Earth to Earth, destroying everything. How are these Earths laid out if Earth 38's, it's their turn, but it already destroyed Earth 9 where Titans was, and we're seeing red skies on Earth 1, but it hasn't destroyed Earth 38 yet.
Right. I don't think it destroyed Earth 9. I don't recall them. They just said that the sky was red.
No,
I don't know, because
Earth 9 was destroyed.
Well,
I'm gonna rewatch it tomorrow.
I'm gonna rewatch it as well.
And the Kevin Smith talk with the producers, they confirmed that Earth 9 was destroyed, 89 was destroyed, 38 was destroyed, 66 was destroyed.
Of course.
Well, then where is the Titans in season 3?
Yeah,
exactly. That's the question.
But, correction, fellas. We can play hardball here and say that the Titans that we're watching is on another Earth. Okay? Or we can just wait till the damn 5 thing is over, and then we can theorize about everything,
Right.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was just it was
when
you starting out like that, where we saw all the Earth like, and just a quick cameo to establish just some fan service. you know, it just really,
Yeah. Well, when you consider like the multiverse, like in the comics, they talk about like the multiverse map, like it's not laid out like in a linear fashion. You know what I mean? You probably think of it as like a galaxy of stars, you know, a galaxy of multiverses of infinite Earths, you know, spiraling out and around one another. So, you know, figure like stars all the way around. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so as the wave comes through, it's just taking stuff out. It's, you know, all this stuff is over here and it's making its way this direction. So, I mean, I don't think it's counting down from Earth 580,000 down to Earth 1.
Well, you know, that is how it was in the comics, but they absolutely made it clear in this show that it's jumping around completely.
No, it wasn't like that in the comics because there's like Earth X, there's like Earth S, there's
Okay, speaking
Earth
of
1.
Okay, I had to chuckle at one part in this, okay? You know what? Hold on. We'll get there because there was one part in this episode that I had to chuckle to myself because it just did not make sense to me. So hold on.
What part was that?
All right, fellas. Let's kind of. James, do you have a summary? Did you get time for a summary? Is there a summary out there? I'm so used to asking.
A summary? A summary on a show that just ended an hour ago?
I mean, guys,
no.
Come on, work with me here, fellas. All right.
Okay, so the episode starts with. So we started our episode on Argo City, pretty much.
Yes.
And Superman and Lois Lane are with their baby,
Jonathan.
Good old Jonathan. And the clouds are coming, and the waves coming, and Argo City is going to be destroyed. What do?
We got a beautiful shot of Erica Durance's last performance as Allura.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool, just to get, that on there, so that, just some closing of that, because Earth 38 is spoiler alert, Earth 38 is no more, and only out of the 7.2 billion people on Earth 38, only 3 billion survived and made it to Earth 1. And I just gotta say, I kind of felt like the entire Earth was just National City. I don't know how you guys felt.
I felt like I was watching Star Wars. Like for that moment, I felt like I was watching Star Wars, where it's Star Wars, like only one city is the whole darn planet.
But we do get, so basically we find out Argo City is going to be destroyed in mere minutes, and Lois and Clark put John in a capsule and put him in a pod and shoot him to Earth while speaking lines from Superman the movie. Man, was it just like... And then Argo City was destroyed. And I was like, holy crap, they just got rid of Lois and Superman. I mean, and my next thought was, maybe the ones that we meet later are from a different Earth. I was just completely caught off guard.
I was thinking that too. I was like, wow, they're really bringing out some serious risks here. Like, they're pulling out the guns. Like, they really killed Superman. Holy crap.
And we found out, Lois said something very interesting, that Superman has already fought Zod and Doomsday. We knew the Zod, but it's interesting that they have already established Doomsday. So that,
So did he already die?
Well, we know we're going to get some sort of something about that.
He fought Doomsday, that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get... So that goes
you don't fight Doomsday and not die unless, you're Smallville.
We get Earth 1, Leanne Yu, where we left good old Oliver and Mia from the Arrow episode. where Lila Harbinger gets them. And then we get Batwoman, and she's still fighting the Wonderland gang, which really kind of messes up the whole kind of where Batwoman takes place thing. It's just weird.
Yeah, this, unless she's been fighting the Wonderland gang and letting Alice kill people for a year and a half.
Yeah, it's just it just kind of, it's confusing. So we'll just have to wait and kind of watch more of Batwoman. And I just think it's hilarious because, I mean, they're trying to make Batwoman all this, like, super tough character. And she's like, whatever your problem is, blip, gone. She's like, that rabbit was going to talk. And I just...
Which was funny. Brainy's like, apparently this one speaks to rabbits.
And then we find out about the anti-monitor.
Brainy took that pretty literally.
Yes, he did. We find out about the anti-monitor. You know, and then...
Wonder when we're going to get to see him.
Actually, you do some cool stuff. And then we see, you know, Harbinger get Ray and Sarah. And then all of a sudden they show up with everybody except Barry. I was like, man, where's Barry? But he wasn't there. No.
Where's Perry?
And then they come in
Oh,
later.
Barry.
And then, did you guys breathe a sigh of relief when you found out that Harbinger showed up right as Argo was destroyed and saved Lois and Clark?
Yes.
Were you just like, oh my gosh? I was like, holy cow. Like, wow, you just really...
Well, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. I was like, they freaking saved John and now, like, they're dead. Like, what the heck? Like, I was like, how is this going to happen? And then they showed up. I was like, oh, okay. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah. And then we get a quantum
I don't
tower.
know. I don't know. I still don't buy Tyler's Superman, but that's just me.
You know, I can't pinpoint it right now, but he was so good in those first 2 episodes of Supergirl that he shows up in. But I don't know, just...
Oh, he hasn't been given as much since, you know, like they gave him this grand introduction. It was how he was written and how he was portrayed. You know, he did a good job with both the Superman and the Clark Kent portrayal, but then also how he was written. He was written as Superman, as this gold standard hero that everybody looked up to. When he flew into the DEO and everybody just like gathered around and wanted to shake his hand and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? It was, it was how they portrayed him. And since then he's taken a back seat to Supergirl, which it's her show, but he's still Superman. I mean, you know, when he's there, he does need to shine.
Yes.
But since then he's been taken and he's been given the back seat because it's Supergirl's show.
You know, and because we get the whole scene with him and her talking, and they're talking about, you know, he's basically bearing his soul and talking about how broken he is about everything. And he goes to her, it's like, how are you so hopeful right now? And it is kind of just interesting with what you just said of how they're really downplaying him and really upplaying her, which it is her show, don't get me wrong. It does make some nice dynamic, but it's still like, I want to see my Superman, you know?
Like, this is...
Yeah, like this... I mean, this Superman should be
looking at him for hope.
This is Superman who's long been the greatest hero on Earth. And he shouldn't not be the beacon of hope. You know what I mean?
Right. So it just felt off balance.
Yeah, he shouldn't be doubting himself and doubting things because that's not who he is. Maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago when he first came on the scene, but and with a handful of years after that, but certainly not within the last, few years.
Exactly. And I mean, there's like, I like this discussion because this just happened, and I'm just like, just processing everything, like getting us like our first reactions. That's the big deal right now. We want our first reactions after Crisis. Holy crap. What just happened? We quickly get this giant quantum tower that was like a whoa.
It was awesome to see that.
That Barry and the Legends created. And I like how the Legends right now, it's just the ones that matter. Ray.
Yes, exactly.
The others will come into play, but I like how it's, it's Ray and it's Sarah. But this is the part of the episode that doesn't quite make sense to me. And I've seen all of Legends of Tomorrow, and I'm not really but why?
Hello?
Yeah.
You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, my cord just popped from my microphone. My bad.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. Why is John on Earth 16 in 2046? Like, what was the significance to that? Like, we go on this little detour in the episode where we meet old Oliver of an Earth that hasn't been destroyed yet. And we get this, it would be a cool scene if it was in something else, with this old Oliver and Sarah. If it was like a scene later on in an episode of Legends, just to kind of like wink at Stephen Amell because, he'll be gone here soon. But it just felt so random and weird and wasting time. And, Sarah says something to him, Will, that, you're a good man no matter what Earth. Earth X, he was the Fuhrer. Okay? So I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Sarah. He's not a good man on every Earth.
Yep.
This is where the episode kind of went off the reins for me. Like, it's where it kind of like felt really weird. It started getting like a little bit boring. But to me, like, I was like, this does not seem in place. Like, this is not flowing right anymore. Like,
Right.
it seems
It was a whole like 2.5 minutes of screen time.
That's a lot of screen time on a crossover
It's
of
a lot of
this
screen-
magnitude. Because I could have seen more fighting them of the Dementors. Okay? Like, I was waiting for Harry Potter to show up, right?
Who says he did? He said he wasn't there.
I'm surprised we didn't get another Harry Potter reference. Who invited the Dementors here or something?
Cisco wasn't there, man. That's why. You know what?
Well, it was Alex and Kara who did the Harry Potter references last year. Spike showed up, and they that's the exact same dragon who was there when in the same episode where they did the Harry Potter references.
I did like that. I did like the dragon showed up. Solomon got really excited when the dragon showed up. I was like, but what do you call it? But what got me was my fear. As soon as they said he went through a wormhole, I was like, Bendis. I was like, man, Bendis. I was like, please, God, no.
I still think that they're going to age this kid. I really do.
I don't mind if they age him to like 7, or 8, like he was in the comics, where it was really great to watch. I just don't want, them to pull a Bendis.
Yeah.
Well,
Skip from 10 years old to a freaking teenager, pretty much grown adult. Like you spend like a year and a half with this kid, and then all of a sudden he's grown.
So that was my fear.
Well,
and then when they got there and they saved the baby, and Oliver, I guess, was protecting it, I was like, cool. But I did feel like it just derailed a little bit.
I'm not sure why either,
I think it was just there for Oliver and Sarah to have that like one last goodbye and fill that little whole thing. And then that's all it was for. But it was weird. It was really
I mean, it would have been okay if they would have showed up after. I guess it would have been okay for like Sarah to have that goodbye to that Oliver if
it was on Legends.
If it was on Legends or if she showed up after he died, but they showed up in the breach when he's kind of giving his final farewell. So yeah, spoiler alert: freaking Oliver dies in the end of this episode.
Did not see that coming this early.
Yeah,
I didn't think he. I thought that might have been I thought that might have been part of the cliffhanger
for
part
break.
3.
Yeah,
until January. You know, one of the final shots being Oliver died, not the end of the first part.
Okay,
so do you guys
since
think
we got
that,
there?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because I'm probably going right where you're thinking. It felt very flat. It was emotional, but I just for that if that's gonna be Oliver / Stephen Amell's kind of send off, it felt okay.
Right. Like so, he's fighting off Dementors with arrows, and
Runs out of arrows, and then he's
And
just
his
gonna.
fists.
like there was no purpose for him to stay there. Like I didn't feel it was really sacrificial. I just felt it was like, yeah, I guess we can throw this death in here now. Like I thought he would have this like big giant like showdown with the anti-monitor, and boom, like he dies, kind of like like I don't know.
Well, man, the arrow can't. Even Stephen Amell being like the OG of the Arrowverse, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense for him to stand to the anti-monitor. It's like Captain America standing up to Thanos, you know what I mean? Like he grabs the glove and one hit and he's down. Like he should have been dead, but he's down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm just meaning I thought it would be more sacrificial. Like he would have sacrificed himself in some way to save Mia or, Barry and Kara.
He did for the larger group,
Mm-hmm.
He sacrificed himself for more people to get off of Earth 38 than would have. So it was for a large sacrifice, not for a single person.
Fair enough, but I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't prepared for him to be dead at the end of this first episode.
Right.
That's
just
for
felt
sure.
extremely awkward and rushed. That's all I'm going to say.
But they do say, the Monitor and Pariah do say that things are changing. The Monitor anticipated Oliver dying at some other point or in some other manner. But, I don't know if it's, determination and will that is going to be the factor that turns things around and makes things different and people come out on top and defeat the Anti-Monitor. I'm not sure.
Now, I do want to say something real quick here. We do know the Monitor has some sort of ability for time travel. Okay?
Yes.
I don't know how or what or if that'll play in anything, but he's already proven that he can manipulate time. So for Mia to even be there, we know on Arrow, the Monitor's already played into time manipulation. So we can see what happens. You mentioned Pariah. Hello, ding. Last second, after it was teased, Nash Wells shows up. He is now Pariah, and it's revealed that he is the one that released the Anti-Monitor, which is comic book accurate.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked that coming around.
And you know how Bryan likes comic book accuracy.
We do. So I'm trying to. I got my notes here. I'm following along here.
And that must have had you giddy, Bryan.
Let's discuss.
It did.
We have Alex and Lena. And Lena, the way they, I told you, Nia, subtleties, the way they're doing her hair. It shapes her face differently, but the long, straight hair now gives her a darker tone. And she's more sinister. You know, she gives Alex a speech that she will never be her friend, that she's, you know, she will help them because of what the stakes are. She's not a bad person, but she will never trust or be Alex or Kara's friend. And she does make an interesting quick mention about how she really did believe that Alex hated Supergirl, and Alex makes the reference, that's a long story, for another time. But, man, I am wondering if there'll be some sort of redemption for Lena when she goes up and finds out about Lex. Thoughts?
It's going to be, well, yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting, you know, when she finds out that Lex is still alive, which it seems from the preview we may have that reveal in the next episode.
So that will be interesting. Excuse me, fellas. All right. So moving on. We talked about that. I'm trying to go through. There's like so much, but I just, you know, I almost thought that Superman and Supergirl were going to go supernova to power the quantum tower. Were you guys getting that vibe?
I was wondering if they were going to go supernova, but then also I was wondering if after they kind of collapsed, if that was because the sky was red.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like when they fell, I was like, okay, this is it. They have drained their powers because, you know, me, Mr. Comic Book Accuracy. You know, when the Supermans of Earth 1 and 2 in the comic were in the antimatter universe, you know, they started losing their powers. So I was thinking that antimatter's coming in, and that's why they fell. Like, they were starting to lose their powers. And I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. You have your big guns out already.
Which is a completely fair assessment, you know? And I do want to throw that out for our listeners. Bryan and James have just both recently read Crisis on Infinite Earths. I didn't have that kind of time, so that's why I have them.
I'm not done. I am like 4/5 of the way done. So I'm pretty close, but I have not finished it.
Well, I'm the one.
But luckily the end doesn't. Yeah, this is true. But, you know, luckily the final 2 episodes, the final 2 parts aren't until January. So I feel I have time. Because I don't feel that they're going to do the whole, the Anti-Monitor's dead and now there's another threat. And then from what I've heard, the Anti-Monitor makes another big comeback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel that it'll probably quite be such that. I mean, I guess maybe it could be since, you know, Lex Luthor is involved. Perhaps, like, I don't know if they would do a Brainiac and Lex Luthor type deal, you know, being one part, like, say they take down, quote unquote, take down the Anti-Monitor in part 3. And then when they come back in part 4, it's like Luthor and Brainiac or Luthor and some other villains. And then part 4, the Anti-Monitor comes back and then they, you know, go out that way. I mean, I really don't know what their full plan is for 5 parts here.
Yeah.
Well, we could get a return of the Reverse Flash somewhere. Okay. And, you know, in the comic, yeah, Mr. Comic Book Action guy, you know, the villains start taking over some of the Earths while the Anti-Monitor is down. And, you know, Lex and Brainiac, just like you're saying, like, take a big role in that. I don't know if that's going to go that route here. It could. But we're going to need someone to take that Alexander Luthor role. And that's why I'm scratching my head at Jonathan Kent's. Like, are they going to make an older John Kent? And I don't know, and that's why they're dealing with some time travel lately, and then he's just gonna like go away, and we're gonna get John Kent baby back for that Superman show. Like, I don't know where they're going with it, but we needed John. We needed John Kent. We do.
Well, the thing I have, I mean, the idea that I have, like, if John kind of played the Alexander Luthor route just even a little bit, not age him up to full adult, but even as a younger child. I mean, so the Superman show in the future, I don't know how interesting it would be to have Super Baby. You know what I mean? But if it takes
I agree with you.
a short time in the future, or this baby is aged up because of the temporal effects, to a young child, it's more interesting to see a young, superpowered, 7 to 10-year-old as opposed to Super Baby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So
no, I agree with you.
I would definitely rather see Superman and Lois teaching a 5 to 10-year-old about life and their powers than I would having a baby around.
Yeah, I don't want John to be aged up to like Alexander Luthor age, where he's a young adult, in a matter of friggin' days or whatever. Like, you skip all that crap. They did that in the comic books, and it's the worst part. Like, I mean, I like the fact that Superboy is.
Yes.
I like the fact that John Kent, Superboy, is like kind of an inspiration for the Legion. I think that is a new interpretation, and I like it. I mean, I'd like to see where it goes and how it's used, but I like the idea of that as opposed to Superman going to the future as a boy, as Superboy, and then going back in time and having his memory erased, that kind of stuff. So I think it's better this way, and I think it makes more sense. But also, that's one of the worst parts is they friggin' skipped all this time. You had great stories with young John Kent, and then you skip all this time. He spent years on another Earth, and just you skip all this time, and now he's just all of a sudden. I don't want that in the TV. I don't want that on TV either.
Amen.
All right, so we see that Kelly has the Guardian Shield. We got that really quick. That was interesting. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I was like, oh, come on, really? But then she's like, Jimmy left it for me. I'm like, okay, well, I guess if you want to leave your sister just something to protect herself with, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
because you know what she's dealing with being with Alex, but still, it's like,
I was scared.
Okay, I'll just go with it.
I was scared for her to be like, she's gonna be Guardian. I was like, oh man,
right. Like, they don't even have a Jim Harper to be Guardian. What's going on here?
So we get that Earth 38 gets wiped. I thought it was interesting when the monitor's like, we failed. And he starts pulling everybody away. And, Oliver's the last one, and he shoots him. And I'm like, man, what did he shoot? Like, just an electrical charge? Like, how did he take down the monitor for that moment?
Right, with a taser arrow.
And then, of course,
but
that's
it's the monitor.
That's when we learned about how many people died, and that's when, we have the death of Oliver Queen. And, earlier, Barry's talking with Oliver, and he's like, hey, I'm going to die. And Oliver's like, I thought I was doing this to protect Barry and Kara. And
I like that.
I liked it too, because I liked how he just called him out. He's like,
he just started, wait, hold on. Hey, answer me. Who are you talking to? And
then boom, he was right there. And I was like, I thought that was awesome. So that was, a part that was just, it was done.
What's funny is we didn't get a quick shot of Barry, like, what? Like, he was right here. Where'd he go?
Can I just mention something? So So is the Monitor and Donna Troy from the same place? Like they both go down with electricity? Like that's it? That's all it means? You got godlike beings and they go down with electricity?
Yes.
Like, what is going on here? That's all I have to say about that.
I just want to laugh more.
I don't think there are many people happy with how that went down.
Yes.
Just as a side tangent there.
Nobody.
I don't think too many people are happy with how that went down.
Nobody's happy with how that went down.
Justice for Donna.
I mean, like I said to Tyler, I said I'm pretty sure that when I listened to like Geek History Lesson on Donna Troy, that she has died in the past, so it's nothing new. But I know that it never happened like that, and just the way that it happened in the show is just kind of. It was just like
it was garbage.
They did it just to do it. It was weak, and yeah.
Well, let's just say for the sake of this conversation, let's just say Donna died in the crisis. All right, moving on.
Okay.
I like the way you think. So yes, moving on. Great. We have Oliver die, and then it's basically that's where it ends. With like a kind of like a to be continued type phase, and I'm really interested in. This was part 1, awesome. Like I said before, like I was a little kind of. They said this is where we're going to take our stand. Okay. Usually, if you're taking your stand, you're against something other than just the forces of, whatever. So I was a little caught off guard at just like, we're taking our stand. Okay. Like now if the Anti-Monitor had showed up, would have made more sense because you're taking your stand against the Anti-Monitor, but he didn't show up.
Right.
So I don't know.
So
that was just a little confusing about what they were exactly standing. Like, unless they're trying to go Earth to Earth and save people.
Right.
Because now,
and then just like the collective population in the end.
Yeah.
They're taking their stand against Will Wheaton and his "End is Nigh" poster.
Could what would have been great?
I love that.
I would have loved it if they just would have made like Will Wheaton kind of like Rorschach, and just for fun, just to mess with people.
Right. That would have been great.
Just to throw that out there.
That would have been great. I'm with you. It made no sense for them to stay on Earth 38 when this Monitor can see the future and see all these things. Like, why move them to all these different planets and then move them back to 38? And then why don't just keep them on Earth 1 when 38's going to blow up? Like, I don't know.
So the stuff about this episode, like comic accuracy, we had the tower.
Yes.
We had the shadowy figures or the Dementors, basically like the shadow army of the Anti-Monitor at the tower. So that was all comic accurate. We got Harbinger and Pariah. What was the thing there? What was the other one about comic accuracy we were talking about before?
There was a baby being shipped in a rocket as the antimatter wave came.
Yes, there was that, and that was John, it was Alexander in the comics, but
close enough.
So there's a few things, they're keeping a lot of bits from the comic books, but making it and allowing it to fit in the world here. So I think I'm not sure. I assume like the stand would be to like hold off the antimatter wave and force maybe the Anti-Monitor to come. And that was like the Monitor's plan to begin with. But I don't think it took. And then, Oliver dying and Pariah saying things have changed. Mm-hmm. So I think things are different than he anticipated. Things are changing. So maybe they intended to, make a stand and force the Anti-Monitor's hand, but now they have to move and adapt. So, I mean, yeah, the make a stand, but now it's not. We know there's going to be some different things. Obviously, next episode, we're going to say like Kingdom Come Earth. We've got Brandon Routh coming in, and
Heck yeah,
Superman, and we got Kevin Conroy as mech suit Bruce Wayne. His mechanical full body prosthesis, which is going to be awesome to see. So next part, tomorrow's part 2 is going to be pretty dang awesome to watch. It was really good today, and I cannot wait to see what parts 2 and 3 have coming. I love seeing Dick Grayson from Earth 66. What do you say? Holy death.
Holy Crimson Skies, Batman.
Yes. Holy Crimson Death. Yeah, he said Holy Crimson Death or something like that. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was nice.
I just, I'm kind of interested the fact that this chapter with Kevin Conroy and everything is the Batwoman episode. And if it's done to boost the ratings for Batwoman, just to kind of...
Well, it's going to be pretty huge with freaking Kevin Conroy and
exactly my point.
Yeah, and Brandon Routh.
I was going to say, it's going to be huge. So, we need to pump up the ratings for Batwoman. Put them in her episode.
Right.
Something needs to be done.
All right, fellas. We got to wrap this up because I want to get this going. What would you rate
Can I
this?
say one last thing?
Yes.
Nobody is thinking about Psycho Pirate.
That is a very good.
Yeah, and he did play a big part.
Yes, and
in the comics.
In Elseworlds, it ended with a teaser for Psycho Pirate, and then it showed Crisis on Infinite Earths coming. So I want you to keep that in your mind when we're going to see Psycho Pirate, because he was introduced in the Batwoman episode of Elseworlds. So just a thought.
And it's a good one, Brian.
I have spoken.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right. Can't wait for part 2.
To be continued.
Yep. Right about 22 hours and 5 minutes from now.
Look up in the sky.
Look up in the sky.
Look in the sky.
Happy holidays. And for all of you Amazon.com shoppers, go to SouthgateMediaGroup.com. There's an Amazon login portal there. And just do your shopping. And portions of your shopping go to help support Southgate Media. So happy holidays.